Now to the final instalment of our three-part series on single-punch crimes. Tonight we examine whether our legal system is failing us when attackers are not charged with murder for king hits that kill. In Western Australia, a one-punch homicide law is already in place, and some are calling for a similar stance here. Tonight we hear from one of New South Wales's most senior barristers.
It's a topic Terence Healy is passionate about. A barrister for 33 years and police officer before that for 17, he says the alcohol and drug-fuelled aggression and fighting must stop.
I think that education must start in the home about violence. Education must be continued at school, in football clubs.
He says real heroes walk away.
Time is on their side. Between stimulus and response there is a space. And in that space, if every young man was to consider in that space it's his space, and how they react can determine the rest of their lives.
Mr Healy's worked on many cases of single-punch crimes and says as well as the impact on the victim, it's also devastating for the offender and their family.
Many mothers have been in my chambers, crying and distressed, together with their husbands, the siblings, the girlfriends and the close friends of the offender. They're all impacted upon.
He represented Jeremy Beasley, a young Newcastle man found guilty of manslaughter and sentenced to 3 years behind bars.
I think the judge had to be fair to both sides, and I think he achieved that.
32-year-old Greg Newton died after being hit in the head in Newcastle's Beaumont Street in 2009. He was knocked backwards, his head hitting the concrete curb. Beasley delivered the deadly blow. Greg's family believed the sentence wouldn't act as a deterrent to others.
A stiffer sentence might make others that are inclined to violence around our streets more aware of the ramifications of their actions.
It's a reaction echoed outside court by victims' families time and again. Tom Biviano and his family found it very difficult coming to terms with the 14-month jail term handed to Bo Lawton, the man who punched Tom, leaving him in a wheelchair for the rest of his life.
You tell me the justice system, did they give me justice today? No. They didn't.
What a joke!
They didn't give my son justice.
What a joke!
It was handed down on September 24th this year, and given time already served before his sentencing, Bo Lawton will be eligible for parole in April.
It's not enough at all. Not enough at all. Wish I got given a sentence. Even 5 years would be good.
Tom was in court in March last year when Lawton pleaded guilty to recklessly causing grievous bodily harm, jailed for a minimum of 3 years and 9 months. But following a change to the legal definition of recklessness, Lawton later pleaded guilty to a less serious charge of assault occasioning actual bodily harm, and his sentence was reduced. The maximum penalty for that crime is 5 years prison. He got 14 months.
What Tom's thinking is, look at what's happened to me, how can it be so trivial? And it will never make sense, because it doesn't make sense.
Robin Cottrell-Jones has supported victims of crime for 18 years.
Victims will always say that the legal system lets them down because it isn't about the effect on the victim, it isn't about the long-term damage, the fact that their lives are utterly over in the way that they were. It's about what the offender can be proved to have been thinking at the time or doing at the time and what they really intended.
She says victims have very few rights and often aren't players in the court system. Robin says community and political action is needed to change that.
I guess the real question is the way the law working now right for today's society?
And what do you think?
No, I don't think it is.
Mr Healy disagrees.
We do in New South Wales a very good job. Our sentencing laws are considered and measured by very experienced judges.
According to the Bureau of Crime Statistics, in 2010, 27,000 people were convicted of assault in New South Wales. 31% were serious assaults causing injury. Of those, 18% received a jail term, averaging 13.3 months. Victims, police, lawyers and trauma experts all agree education for young people is paramount, teaching them about the real-life consequences of violence and that one moment of madness which Tom and his family live with every day.
One punch can change so much. Think before you do it.
Jane Goldsmith, NBN News.
You can see Jane's series in full on our website, nbntv.com.au, along with more information and extended interviews. And special thanks to camera operators Grant McIntyre, Rebecca Cuttance and Dion Ambrose, who all worked on that series.